Class is officially in session. Welcome back to the Swifty Academy. Today we're opening the archives on the ultimate test of a veteran's endgame arsenal, the Profit-Taker Orb Mother. Let's completely honest right now of the game. Most public lobbies for this fight is an absolute disaster. People are constantly running out of energy, getting thrown down across the snow on their backs, or staring blankly at the shield type that physically cannot damage. They look for popular meta-slop crutches, or copy a random video loud without understanding the why it works, and then wonder why their completion times are completely dragging. But we don't do that here. We are looking at the mechanical truth. Before we even think about stepping onto the operating table for this masterclass, there's one definitive non-negotiable prerequisite. You must hit rank 5 old mate with Solaris United. If you haven't put in the foundation work to unlock the Vox Solaris backroom, go handle your architecture first, then come back to the class. In this lesson, I'm going to tear down the underlying logic of the 13 element matrix, but I want to make one thing crystal clear. To every single student watching, you don't need to copy my exact weapons, and you don't need to copy my exact Warframe. What you must replicate, however, is the mathematical distribution of your element coverage and the internal logic of your survivability loops. Once you master the rules of the matrix, the gear choices come down to an absolute personal preference. Let's strip away the fluff and look at the technical breakpoints. Let's step into the lab and look at how we build an unbreakable survival engine. My baseline frame of choice is Chroma Prime. And I'm gonna show you the Tileforge Archon shards as well. We have 3 duration shards, and then we have 2 yellow ones for casting speed, and this, the Tileforge, because it's a luxury, and if you wanna use whatever, then you're more than welcome. I'm not gonna judge you whatever, but this is what I use, and for my main build for Chroma, we are utilizing a lot of ways to survive. We have Arcane Battery to give us that massive energy pool because of Vix armor, and Guardian armor that gives us a bunch of armor that can be, well, transformed into energy pool. And then we have Arcane Nullifier so that we have more than enough resistance to magnetic status effects, because during the Profit-Taker there's going to be a lot of magnetic status effects that will hinder your energy pool, making your energy way less, or sometimes it just sucks up your energy, and then it can, make you more vulnerable because it also attacks your shields. It's a bunch of bad stuff. That's why I have Arcane Nullifier to completely disable that factor when fighting the Profit-Taker. And then we have Prime Sure-Footed. I know a lot of people hate the mod for a lot of reasons, but for this is a must. This is a must-have, and it's non-negotiable, because the less time you spend time on your butt, the more damage you do, and we don't want to spend time on our butt. We want to spend as much time killing the Profit-Taker as fast as possible. And then, of course, I introduce my own way of surviving, and that is quick thinking. Now, since we have a lot of energy, and because of the help of Equilibrium, and also the help of Nourish from Chroma's first ability that we have replaced, we're going to have no issues with energy. So, by slotting in quick thinking, it says drain energy to stop lethal damage with 240 efficiency. Now the efficiency part is not that all important, but what you should know that it keeps you alive. Your energy keeps you alive. So if you don't have energy, you're gonna die. but that's not going to be the case because we have so many ways of getting energy back without even sweating. And we have adaptation, of course, to help us even further with survivability. And then we have Guardian Armor as well. It says Vex Armor Augment. Chroma reduces damage with his squad mates, whatever, and it increases the Vex Armor by 1 second if you get a kill. Admittedly, you're not gonna really kill things, so this is maybe a flex slot if you want to use something else, but if you're gonna run with squad members, other people, your friends, then having Guardian Armor is gonna be very beneficial, not just for yourself, but for your teammates, because you're gonna give them damage reduction, essentially. And that's it. This is the build that I'm running with Chroma, and then if you look at my arsenal, you notice that we have the Optica Vandal, the Cuba Nucor, and a custom Zol. Now, let's look at the Optica Vandal first. For the Optica Vandal, we have mainly and only cold. For the charge shot, it's still the same. It would be different if I would have attacked an enemy, whatever have you, but that's not the case. The main thing that we are focusing on the most is cold. And yeah, we want as much cold as possible. And then we of course have primary bulwark, because the more armor you have, the more base damage you get, which then translates into more damage. But we have serration, so technically you can switch serration out for something else if you prefer amalgam serration for more sprint speed or whatever have you. Alright, and then for the Cuba Nucor, I have made a video about it in the past. On my adversary weapon tier list, I would link a video to that video description. And our base progenitor elements can be electricity. Alright, and this is the build. I've changed it a little bit since the video, but it's better now. It's better. Because why? We have Pesta Elementalist. And we have electricity, radiation, magnetic, and gas running on the Cuba Nucor, which is like 4 elements out of the 13 elements that's required. That's insane if you think about it. And we have more than enough crit chance and crit damage because of the secondary innervate. And we have crit damage from the Riven. Honestly, if you want to replace the Riven, just use Toxin, they will be fine. Nothing fancy at all. This is the setup. Now, admittedly, you can replace secondary prime pistol gambit with something else, because we have a lot of crit chance from that already. I would maybe recommend using base damage. Yeah, that's a good idea. Alright, so that is the Cuba Nucor build. And then if you go and have a look at my Zol. The Zol parts are the following. The grip is the Paya, strike is Bala, the link is Vajit 2J. It's not that important, but what's important is the following. This is the setup. Now, we have Exotic Contagion. Now, something that not a lot of people know is that if you use Exotic Contagion alongside this setup, it actually replaces the mod, or the status, or the element, I should say, Blast. Exotic Contagion can actually proc Blast as well. So that's a win. And then, of course, we have mid exposure for more corrosive, because there are going to be times that you have to use corrosive, and we have pure toxin built in. And then we have rending strike for that more extra slash and punch through. Nothing fancy. And then we have melee elementalist for slash and status and blast. Good stuff. When it comes to the operator, you can use any. It doesn't matter, you can use any. I'm not going to go into much detail. And then finally we have the Worm Prime. Now the Worm Prime is our way of surviving as well, because of Guardian and Negate. Negate specifically why? It's because it's going to cleanse us of status effects. So sometimes there will be times where you'll be directly damaged with magnetic damage, not status effects, whatever. Manifold Bond's gonna help us Grants us more of status effects, and also proc Guardian to help us survive better with shield gaining a little bit. Not as much though, doesn't matter. And then we have the Virglass Prime. I'm not gonna even sugarcoat it. I don't really. You can use any sentinel weapon. It doesn't matter, but this is what I use. Okay, and then of course the heavy weapon, and I'm using the Kuvak Rattler. The Valence bonus is Toxin, and for the build, it's going to be kind of similar to whatever have you. But anyways, we have the following: radiation slash heat, impact, corrosive, puncture, and magnetic. And then of course we have blast because of the radial attack. All right, so and also we don't really mod for crit chance at all. As you can see on the build, we don't have crit chance. What we do have though is a bunch of base damage because of this mod, specifically for this setup, and then we have more than enough crit chance because we have secondary innovate, and this is the build, this is the setup that I use. And then I'm gonna mention this, but it's not really necessary. I have a Void Rig, but I'm not gonna show the build for the Void Rig because it's not necessary. I know a lot of people use the Void Rig when doing the Profit-Taker, but I'm gonna be honest, it's really not that needed. It's not needed. This is the setup that I'm using. With this setup alone, I am covering all 13 elements. As I've said at the beginning of the video, you can use anything. You can use any weapon, any Warframe. The only thing that you should and only have and keep in mind is the elements. If you have all the elements in the background running, you're free to do whatever. That's all. And without further ado, here is some gameplay. So we just started the Profit-Taker. You can just skip through this dialogue, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna go into the Orb Vallis thingy. I wish me luck. I'm just kidding, it's gonna be easy. Alright, so I'm gonna voice this over as I play. I'm not gonna, do anything else really much. So, admittedly, you can use any Warframe, if you use something like Mirage, whatever have you, then of course, you're gonna do it way faster than a stupid Chroma, but I prefer Chroma, because he's tanky, he does damage, what more else do I need? And there we go, you throw down Auxiliary Contagion, and like we're going through all of the phases so fast that I can actually not even talk. It's so great it is. It's so effective. And we just handle the legs, take down the legs. There's the last one. And then you attack the main body a little bit. Nothing fancy. And then of course you can just take down a few enemies here and there. It doesn't really matter all that much. Usually I just throw down a crew member to take down the small mobs and stuff here and there. And I gotta take down the legs again. Now it looks easy because I know what I'm doing, but in reality practice makes perfect. So if you don't kill the thing within a few minutes, it doesn't mean you're bad. It takes time, And besides, you don't have to do this every single day, so having to, going for a world record, like, it's cool and all, but it's not the only type of thing that you can do in the game. That doesn't make sense. But you do you. And I'm using my operator to take down the pillar stuff because it's easier. Like, I know a lot of people use the Zenith or even just the Optical Vandal to handle those, but I'm not really bothered, to be honest. And then we summon our heavy gun, heavy weapon, take down the legs. Very easy. We're not struggling, not even a little bit. Alright, now we switch to the Curricular. Curricular again. You see, like we skipped so many phases with the Cuba new core. It's amazing. I like it. And then we take down the legs again. Nothing fancy. And I believe we're done. That's easy. So easy. It's it's not really a sweat, to be honest. Like, yeah. And when it comes down, you just throw down your cloak thingy, your dragon skin thingy, and then when the Orb Vallis thing drops his butt down, like so, you get a bunch of extra goodies. And yeah, that's the Profit-Taker. Hope you guys like my little gameplay of me doing it. It was easy. It looks easy, but again, I mean that one didn't take us even that long. If I had to guess, let me just look at the time real quick before I end this. Let's see. Not even 5 minutes. Technically, if you shave up that other 43 seconds, you can see it's like a 2 minute run. Not shabby, not too bad at all. Your arsenal around structural logic instead of blindly meta-slop copying encounters like the Profit-Taker should stop being chaotic gamble and become a definitive science. Cavalry elements construct an anti-energy gate, protect your positioning, and you will dominate the Vallis with absolute authority. This lesson marks the official blueprint of our next academic term. If you want to download the exact build configurations featured in today's class, head over to our Discord community of over 400 legends using the link in the description, or drop exclamation mark polar or exclamation mark guide commands live in the stream chats. Let me know in the comments below how your personal element matrix is laid out and how quickly you're melting Orb Mother with this structure. We have a massive curriculum ahead of us for phase 2, legends. Enjoy a short recess, get your layouts formatted, and I'll see you in the next lecture, legends. And stop chasing the slop. Start mastering mechanics. Class is dismissed.